Chapter 9. Which dust will you eat? The time to see the Word in the flesh has come to an end. God said to Adam, "Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." From which ground is he telling him to eat? And of what toil is he speaking? From where is Adam to eat? Jesus said that his words were spirit. The Bible is not about the work of the flesh, but speaks of the work of the Spirit. God was not telling Adam to plow the ground that can be seen. He said our spirits are a field, rich, fertile soil, stony ground, a thorny place. Our flesh eats products of the ground, but for our spirits to live, it must eat the products of heaven. To plow the ground, dust must be dug while sweating for all the days of a life. When the product, that is, heaven's life of the dust, comes out, it is all the days of Adam's life. The Bible has an inside of Eden, and it also has an outside of Eden. There is the sound of the Spirit, and there is the sound of the flesh. If we only eat dust in the flesh, Adam gets buried and dies. That is why he is soaked in sweat. Now, the time to see the Word in the flesh has come to an end. For life to open its eyes, we must see it in the Spirit. Dust of the flesh is outside of Eden. For Adam to open his eyes and come out, we must eat the dust of life. Which dust will you eat? Currently, my lustful self eats all of God's word. The dragon is eating it all. Lives offer up the things received by God, but serpents do not offer up. The serpent eats God's things and only fills its own stomach. The serpent, which ate dust, became a dragon, and the dragon is eating the dust. God told the serpent to eat dust, but there was never a time when he told the dragon to eat it. From church to church, dragons are diligently eating dust. They eat by picking and choosing the dust, eating only what fits their thoughts. So now, if God seizes the dragon, it will go back to being the serpent of old. That it must eat dust for all the days of its life is God's command. It is his plan regarding the serpent. To plant crops and greens, there must be dust. God told the serpent to eat dust all the days of its life. When the work of eating it all ends, wouldn't the serpent go to God to report to him that it has finished eating all the dust of this earth? There will be someone who comes to God having eaten the good dust of Israel, and there will be someone who goes before God having eaten dust from bad soil of the other's land and brings it forth to God. From now on, all dust of the grounds of the world will gather, and God will change that dust into God's soil. Which dust will you eat? God is spirit. If we should meet him, we must eat the good dust of Israel. John the Baptist spat dust for 6 months. John the Baptist did the work of diligently proclaiming sound. He is simply sound, and such sound is the Word. The Word is dust, and John the Baptist came only with dust from inside the ark. For 6 months, he spat all the dust that was brought with him, so there was no longer any need for him to remain on this earth. After he dispersed all the dust, he went back to God. God is someone who sent John the Baptist, and God is his head. Head is sound. John the Baptist put out a sound for Jesus and withdrew on his own. John 3:30 says, "He must become greater, I must become less." John the Baptist came to this earth to prepare the path of Jesus. After he spat all the dust for 6 months, he said, "Please go up, as I have prepared your place." Now, when Jesus comes again, we must welcome him and say, "Jesus, who has come as King, please come inside, as your place has been prepared. The time has now come for you to receive glory." The dust that's eaten after I hurl myself. God told Moses to throw his staff on the ground. Moses threw it on the ground, and it became a snake. This does not refer to the staff that can be seen. The staff refers to the self on which we lean the most. More than the family or God, the human leans on him or herself the most. Although we say we lean on God, we actually lean on ourselves more. If we lean on him only, there would be nothing to worry about. The staff is that I lean on myself the most. If I hurl to God the thing that I had leaned on the most, he says he will enter inside of me. That is why the dust that I eat after I hurl myself and the dust that I eat before I hurl myself are different. The dust that I eat after hurling myself reveals the glory of God. The dust that I eat not having hurled myself reveals only my glory. There is no life at the place where I am revealed. The dust that I eat after having hurled myself away is the dust from which the things of God come out. Only the love of the cross binds the dragon. The 66 books of the Bible are God. They are the one person, God. Bible verses that I like must not be the only words that enter. All things given to me according to his ways must enter inside me. At the time of the harvest, he only obtains grains. If we have thus far eaten the literal word of the Bible, that is, the skin, it is now the time to eat the grain. It is the time when the kernel, contained deep inside, comes out. This is fruit from the tree of life in Eden. The era of love is the time to eat fruit from the tree of life in Eden. If the tree of life in Eden enters inside me, I realize that I have lived while being deceived until now, and I see sin. I see the deceiver and the deceived inside myself. Now, God unclothes the garments of skin and permits us the tree of life. If so, we must unclothe the garments of skin and end the war of dragons that sheds blood. If we unclothe the garments of skin, we become one inside of God's love. If we go forth only in God's love, peace comes to our families as well. Dragons spring out because we do not go forth in this love. If one's pride is touched in the wrong way, dragons spring out like thunder. So there is no time to bind these dragons with human power. If they travel around until they go back into their rightful places, they make things difficult for some time. Love that is of God's cross, that is, the tree of life, must bound the dragon. And things become quiet. Why does the dragon come out from the sea? When beasts that live in the sea come out, as shown in Revelation 13:1, it is because something is wrong. If there is nothing wrong with the sea, they do not come out. If we approach others in love, the sea becomes calm. The sea is the world of the Spirit. If we are peaceful due to such love, dragons become quiet inside of the sea. When the sea is touched in a wrong way, dragons spring out. And when they spring out, peace disappears and there is hardship. At that moment, only the love of the cross can bind the dragon. He takes out the dragon's venom. God drags out the evil inside us. Would there not be a great deal of venom inside the dragon? The era of love is to remove this evil. If the dragon's venom is taken out, the dragon becomes a serpent. It trembles at the face of God's truth and crawls on its belly. Even if the word descends, the dragon thrashes and flies around in the sky and tries to dominate others as if it were a king. But if God removes the venom, the serpent that comes out goes away, saying, I am nothing. God removes that power from inside us. He seizes the dragon and puts it inside the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is when activity becomes halted. God's activity begins. So my world becomes a world of peace. A different world comes. If a different world, New Jerusalem, comes, do we think that New Jerusalem will come down from heaven? God removes all the venom inside of us. He seizes the dragon and sees that it is not a dragon. So we must not pretend to be dragons. He said in Revelation 22 that he seized the dragon, and it was the serpent of old. We are no longer dragons, but serpents. The reason we do not become one with God and one another is the venom inside each person. Dragons incubate venom. In the era of love, God removes the venom and pours on blessing. That is why a world of peace comes. The world opens and becomes united due to God. Evil melts at God's love. If truth enters the human spirit, the image of God shows, and this image is love. God said that the human is an evil person, yet we look for evil in other places. God saw me, I, and said that I was an evil person. That evil is there means God's word is being distorted. From now on, God correctly takes a hold of this. In Matthew 7:11, Jesus said, If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? But mankind does not know the love of God. God's love is fire. Such fire is not fire that can be seen. His love is so hot that evil melts at such love. When the word becomes exposed, all evil inside me melts away. Then I approach God with a heart of love. Only genuine love remains inside my heart. Evil melts away, and the only one fire that remains is love. God's judgment of fire is the atomic bomb of love. It is the love of God that restores Eden. The fiery judgment of God refers to God's perfection that has no before and no after. From now on, he comes to melt evil. Then only God's good, only love remains. The book of Revelation is that by God's love, the evil inside human melts away and only his truth remains. 1 John 4:8 tells us that God is love. Amongst faith, hope, and love, love is the greatest. We go in our life of faith by seeing faith, hope, and the one love. God's children are afraid of the book of Revelation and cannot approach it. But we must go inside of it and meet God, so that the dragon becomes a serpent. Now, God opens the book of Revelation. The faith of believing in God and the hope of seeing God are due to his love. So ultimately, only the one love remains. Love is the essence of Eden. Evil melts at God's love. And at a moment without my knowing, the person I becomes destroyed.